Hey guys! Welcome back to Roma's Kitchen. Today I'll be teaching you how to make the best fruit cake. You might know it as Jamaican fruit cake, Jamaican black cake, or Caribbean fruit cake, but I'll be teaching you how to make the best cake today. So if you want to see how all this gets done Roma's Kitchen style, stick around right after this intro.
Y'all better can't cook. Think you know you pay your pretty look. You want to live a restaurant and come done man bank book. Cook, recipe book.
So these are all the ingredients I used in my fruit cake, and I'll tell you what each ingredient is as I go along, and I'll also tell you how much of each ingredient I'll be using. So to get started, you're going to need 2 cups of unsalted butter, and you'll need to remove your butter from the fridge overnight so it comes to room temperature. You want your butter nice and soft. So I'm just using my spatula here just to break the butter apart a little. Then I'm also going to be going in with my hand mixer, and I'm just going to be using it to loosen the butter even more. So my butter is now nice and ready to go, so I'll be adding to this 2 cups of soft brown sugar. You just want to ensure that the brown sugar you'll be using, it's nice and soft. And then now I'm going to be creaming the butter and the sugar, and this will take about roughly 5 minutes to get everything nice and soft and get it to an icing like texture. This is nice and soft, so next I'm going to be working on my eggs. So I have here, guys, 8 eggs, and if you have 8 eggs in your cake, more than likely your cake will be a little raw. So what I like to do is I like to go through with a fork, and I like to remove the eyes of my eggs. Now the eyes of your eggs are the 2 little white parts that are normally attached to the yolk, and these are what helps your eggs to actually make your cakes really raw. So you want to try to remove as much of them as possible. And if you're baking in bulk, more than likely you won't have the time to do that. But to this egg, to the eggs, the 8 eggs, I'll also be adding 2 teaspoons of lemon juice and 2 teaspoons of lemon zest. I'll be adding these in my eggs, and I'll be whisking them all together. This will also contribute flavor, and this will help to cut the rawness that the eggs will bring in your cake. So I'll be adding that mixture to my creamed butter and sugar, just a little at a time. You do not want to dunk everything in at once, just to avoid your mixture from curdling. But if your mixture curdles, that doesn't mean that your batter won't be good. Here I'm just mixing everything nice and together with my hand mixer, but you don't want to overmix this. So once you see everything comes together, it's time for you to remove your hand mixer. And for me, I'm just going to complete the process by using a spatula. You can go ahead and use a wooden spoon, but I just need more control over what I'm doing. So I'm just going to scrape the sides a little and mix everything together just the same, just for a little, because you do not want to overmix your batter. So next I'm going to go in with 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, rose water, and 2 teaspoons of almond extract or almond essence. Next I'm going to go in with 3 to 4 cups of blended fruits, and for my fruits, guys, I stew my fruits, so my fruits are filled with flavors. And if you want to see how I stew my fruits, you can click on the link in the description and also somewhere here to see how you can get your nice stewed fruits that are packed with flavors from the get-go. And this is smelling so good right now because the stewed fruits, guys, they have a lot of flavors already filled in it. So what I'm doing here is I'm just mixing everything together, and I'm just cutting and folding, and once I see that everything is nice and combined, then I'm just going to be changing up the color a little, because this is not the color that you want for your cake. I like my cake nice and dark. So to get it nice and dark, guys, I'm going to be adding 6 tablespoons of browning and 1 tablespoon of molasses. Now if you do not have browning, you can go ahead and use some burnt sugar, but what the molasses does, it not only does it contribute to the color, but it also give it a nice flavor. So I'm just here trying to get everything out my container. You want to get that all in. Then you just mix this out. So the browning and the molasses, remember browning and molasses are a little thick on the thick side, so you want to mix this out well. And I'm just cutting and folding and mixing here. And this color, guys, is just nice and right for me. I love to see my cake nice and dark. Now this is done, and now time for me to move on to my dry ingredients. You just need a container and you need a strainer to run everything through so they'll be nice and airy. So here I'm going in with 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Next I'm going to go in with a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon powder and nutmeg. Then I'm going to go in with a 1½ teaspoons of salt and baking powder. And I'm just sifting everything here, running it through my strainer just to get it nice and airy. And I'm just going to also go in with a whisk, and I'm just going to mix all the dry ingredients nice and together. So now that we have dry and wet ingredients ready, I'm going to be adding the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients a little at a time. So I'm just going to go in with this in 3 sections. So I'm adding 1/3 of the dry ingredients mixture, and I'm just going to cut and fold. Just cut and fold it in. Because remember, you do not want to over mix your batter, so I'm adding another 1/3 of it, and I'm just going to cut and fold and mix in. And I'm just going to do that until I have no more dry ingredients left, until everything is just nice and combined. So this is it, guys. The mixture is nice and ready. Everything has been nicely incorporated. So I have here, guys, a 9-inch pan, and this mixture will yield you a 12-inch cake, or for me, I have here a 9-inch pan, and I'll also be getting 12 cupcakes from this. So one 9-inch cake, 12 cupcakes, or you can get one 12-inch cake from this. So you don't want to fill this up too much. So I'm just adding enough, about halfway full, and I'm just going to be knocking this down a little on the surface, just that so that any air bubbles that might be in there will be gone, and for the mixture to be nice and leveled. So your oven should have been on, preheating, and you want to have in your oven some water or a water bath, and you want to place your cake directly over your water bath, and this is the secret to getting your cake nice and moist. And you're just going to close your oven and allow your cake to bake at 350 degrees for 1 hour and 30 minutes. So 1 hour and 30 minutes guys later, this is my cake. It is so moist, it is looking good right now. And here I have a mixture of rum and wine to spray on top of my cake when it's hot. But before that, I'm just going to put a toothpick in the middle of my cake. Once it comes out clean, your cake is nice and ready to go. And if it's not clean, you can just stick this back in the oven for an extra 10 to 15 minutes. Now here I'm spraying the rum and the wine mixture on top of my cake while it's hot, so it will soak up as much of that liquor as you want it to. And of course, if you're a person who likes your cake super rummy, for the mixture to go on top, you can add more rum than wine, or however you like it. So that's it for spraying my cake guys. So if you'll be keeping your cakes for a really long time, every now and then you can go ahead and spray a little of the alcohol mixture on your cake, not just to preserve it but also to keep it nice and moist. Now after allowing my cake to cool down, this is how my cake looks. These are my lovely cupcakes guys. And this is a nice slice of the ROMA'S Kitchen Jamaican black cake or fruit cake. So if you like the video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to share the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn your post notifications on. Until next video.